Good as Emmanuel Fernandez, the now 24-year-old centre-back, was a bit of a controversial signing in the summer for Rangers, given that they were paying £3.5 million for a player. They only really had one full season in League One, played half the season before, and then the season before that was playing with Barnet in the National League, so it seemed like a really big outlay, and a player that not many people knew nothing about. And if you looked at social media, Peterborough fans seemed to be laughing at the type of fee that Rangers were playing. So Rangers fans were obviously worried in the summer, especially the kind of fee we're talking about. You're looking at someone that should be coming in, being a starting centre-back, and it didn't seem like Fernandez was that. In opening interviews by the manager, he was spoken about being a player with potential. Again, 23 years old he was at the time, now 24. Paying £3.5 million shouldn't be a player, especially for a club like Rangers are coming into the Scottish Premiership, shouldn't be a player that's coming in for potential. Let's look at Fernandez anyway. So far this season for Rangers, he's 13 appearances, scored 4 goals, played just over 1,100 minutes, 7.54 progressive passes per 90, 8.83 successful defensive actions per 90, just over 62% duels won and just over 72% duels won. You can see there the clear strength is aerial ability, and again you can see that in the strengths when you look over the other side of the scouting report. So strengths have got aggression, aerial ability, he's brave, obviously really good at jumping. A lot of defenders that are taller kind of don't seem to jump and they just rely on their height, but Fernandez has got a great leap on him along with being around 6'4". Powerful. Reading of the game I've put as a strength there, but sometimes I don't think his decision making is great and he's a bit too rash and a bit too aggressive coming out to try and nick the ball, which sometimes leads to strikers turning him and them getting away. Then his strength as well, he is strong as well. You sometimes get those defenders that still get bullied when they're that height, especially the ones that have played with Rangers in recent years. We'll just break down the data a wee bit more for Fernandez. You can look at the percentiles here and the radar for this season. Pass accuracy and passes per 90, a decent rate, but you can go a bit further down. You look at the aerial duels per 90, the aerial duels won, sliding tackles and in possession adjusted for. Sliding tackles and interceptions are really good as well. Interceptions are decent. Also, the biggest thing, or the biggest difference he's added to this Rangers defence has been his ability in the air. A lot of times in recent seasons, Rangers have had centre-backs that get bullied when they go to the likes of St Mirren or Dundee, or teams that are going to be a bit more direct, but we've not really seen that this season when Fernandez has been in there. Strong in the air, so that's the type of thing that Rangers have been looking for in recent years, just a defender that's going to win those aerial duels. It's going to be aggressive, going to be strong, and Fernandez is that. He does have his weaknesses, obviously we'll go into them a wee bit later, but in terms of his aerial ability, it's definitely one of his biggest strengths. Then the next radar is just a comparison to last season in League One at Peterborough. You can see he averaged more passes and better pass accuracy there. When you come to the aerial duels, he's improved massively there for Rangers, being top of the league in terms of percentile there. And just some other stats here, you can kind of see the comparison. There's some improvements, some not so much, but I do think he's a decent passer of the ball as well when he comes out. I just think he's a bit sloppy in his decision making at times, and he just has those lapses of concentration, which is probably why the Peterborough fans weren't so upset about him leaving. So we'll continue breaking down that scouting report there. We're looking at some more bits of the data. So looking at the aerial duels, the aerial duels per 90, involving a lot of duels, just under 7 there, and you can see right at the top of the league there for the amount of aerial duels won. He is so strong in the air, like I say, he's 6'4". He does jump well, he's strong in the air, he's a massive threat from attacking set pieces, but also defensive ones as well. You can see the difference from Rangers, both defending and attacking set pieces. He's also had a couple disallowed, so he could have had more than the 4 goals he's had already. Then I've decided to look at his passing next. He actually is under average for both progressive passes and forward passes per 90. I think he kind of relies on John Souttar to do that bit of the game. He will come out and drive forward sometimes, but it seems when he does drive forward, he either panics. We've seen that a few times. He loses the ball, he gets into decent positions because he is good at coming forward with the ball. He's confident at taking players on, but when it gets to the final bit, doesn't always make the right decision. He has lost the ball a few times there, which hasn't bitten Rangers, but I mean, it's one of those things that can when teams turn the ball over very quickly. A lot of the teams in the Scottish Premiership now have quick players up front, so that could quite easily turn into a dangerous attack. So I do think he has to make better decisions there. He is capable, he has the ability to play those more kind of adventurous passes. I just would like to see it more from him. So just looking at some more data here, we're going to look at the goals and offensive duels 1%. As you can see there, he's tied with Stuart Finlay and Craig Halkett as goal scoring centre-backs. All of them have 4 goals. You can see offensive duels won there as well, slightly below the average, which I was quite surprised about because he does win so many headers inside the box. But it's just kind of interesting to look at where Halkett and Finlay are and how well Hearts do from set pieces and how well they've done so far this season. And the last bit of data we're going to look at is possession adjusted interceptions and sliding tackles. You can see Manny Fernandez up there at the top with the adjusted interceptions, and you can see he's quite highly ranked in terms of the sliding tackles as well, above average for both, which is nice to see. I do like Manny Fernandez. I think there's a lot to like about his game, but again, there's just those lapses in concentration that you would hope he would have out his game by 24 years old. Like I spoke about earlier, the driving forward and just sometimes getting lost in possession. People refer to it as defenders getting a nosebleed when they get far up the pitch, and you do kind of see that. He panics in possession, he looks about for passes and sometimes just loses the ball. He is very composed, but sometimes that composure can be a negative, and he's very lax on the ball at times, especially when he's the last player back. Instead of just going back to the keeper, sometimes he'll dally on the ball and it's very last minute, and then it leads to Jack Butland having to swipe the ball clear, which Jack Butland already isn't the best with the ball at his feet. So that's something that you would like to avoid. So there's a couple of things there. Again, the concentration is a massive thing, especially in Scotland. Those strikers that are playing for teams against Rangers, Celtic and Hearts now are always going to be on the shoulder of the last defender. They're always going to look for those mistakes. They're going to look for those small opportunities to turn into big chances. Again, Fernandez, he's just kind of a bit lax there sometimes. I do think strong in the tackle, strong in the air, but sometimes he's just a bit overly aggressive at trying to nick in and get the ball, and it does lead to him getting turned sometimes. I don't think the decision in the first half to have him kind of coming forward to mark midfielders in the last Old Firm game really benefited him any. It left massive gaps in the defence, and I don't know if that was an instruction by Danny Rule, if it was something that he was doing himself, but if it's something he's doing himself, he really needs to knock that out of his game. As previously mentioned, there is a lot of things to like about Manny Fernandez's game, but there's also just those things you would like to be ironed out by the time he's 24. Being able to keep your concentration for 90 minutes is so important. You say it's really important for goalkeepers, especially in Scotland, when they won't have a lot to do. Most of the time you're playing for teams at the top of the league, you're going to have a lot of possession and be asked to do things going forward, but you just need to be concentrated the whole time, and I think that's where Rangers could lose a lot of goals. It's maybe not happening as often now towards the latter few weeks, but again, it still does happen. Maybe at least once a game you'll see that lapse in concentration, of taking too long on the ball, they're just not paying attention to the ball over the top or where the markers are. You can see looking back at the goal away in Ferencváros, he clearly didn't know where the attacking player was, and it shows bits of concentration. That's maybe why he's still been playing at that level, but I do think, again, there are teams that will look at the amount of aerial duels he wins. He is comfortable coming forward with the ball, he's athletic, he's strong, he's tall. If you can work on those things, work on the concentration, work on positioning at time, and just showing a bit more urgency in the ball sometimes, or sometimes you do just need to get rid of it. I do think he just holds on there for too long. What do you think of Emmanuel Fernandez? What have you thought of him so far this season? He's obviously improved since the start of the season, but you think this is as good as he's going to get? Do you think he's still got other levels he can step up? What do you think his ceiling is? Should he be at the starting centre half for Rangers, or should Rangers be looking to get someone in to replace him? If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments down below.